this is Erica. Welcome to yet another interesting lesson. Today we are going to talk about dress code and grooming for a job interview. The importance of a proper dress code is often not paid attention to in the corporate world. One of the reasons could be lack of possessing a right attitude or lack of awareness. In today's competitive world where you have X number of people applying for a single position, it is all the more vital to create that great impression. By dressing appropriately and professionally is one of the ways to achieve that. Today I'm going to go through a few points to give you a better understanding at what is acceptable and not acceptable at a job interview. So let's begin. Clothing. Clothing for women. Women could either wear a light colored blouse or a formal shirt with trousers. You could also team that up with a skirt. But yes, when wearing a skirt, you want to be a little careful with regard to not showing too much of skin. So choose a skirt with the appropriate length, preferably something which stops at the knee or something which is below the knee. Okay? If it's winter season, you could definitely wear a blazer or a conservative suit. So one thing to definitely keep in mind are the colors. You want to choose pastel shades. Pastel shades would be something like a light pink, a lemon yellow, a sky blue, etc. With regard to trousers, you want to opt for dark shades. Dark shades could be black or navy blue. Also, with regard to women's clothing, you need to ensure that you do not wear deep necks or low backs. Definitely do not want to show too much of skin at a job interview. It's very unprofessional. Okay. Moving on to men's clothing. What could men wear at a job interview? You could wear a formal shirt of light color with a matching tie and trousers. Trousers need to be plain and of a dark color. Again, dark shades would be black or navy blue. With regard to the shirt, ideally you could choose a white or pastel shades like mentioned over here, which would be maybe a pink or a green, etc. In the winter season, you could definitely wear a conservative suit or you could wear a blazer, but you need to ensure that the blazer is of a solid color. When I say solid color, I'm referring to black or brown. Okay. With regard to men's clothing, again, you need to ensure that the tie that you wear is light, conservative and not flashy. When I mean flashy, I'm referring to a fluorescent color or an orange or green. So you want to keep the colors light and subtle on the eye. The tie should also match your shirt or the suit that you are wearing. With regard to men's clothing, you need to ensure that your shirt is neatly tucked in. Okay, and definitely no casuals. Casual wear would be jeans or a t-shirt, so you definitely do not want to wear that for an interview. So that's with regard to clothing. Now let's talk about color in a little more detail. Color, again, choose very subtle shades. Avoid flashy colors. Subtle shades are gentle on the eye, it gives you a pleasant appearance, so you definitely want to choose subtle shades. Color does play an important role with regard to clothing, so just keep that in mind as well. With regard to makeup for women, you want to keep the makeup subtle and elegant. Avoid too much of makeup. With regard to eye makeup, you want to keep that less dramatic. Dramatic makeup is good for an evening out or a celebration, but for a job interview, less is more. Okay? With regard to lipstick shades, choose subtle tones. Choose something which suits your skin tone. Subtle tones could be maybe a pink or a light brown. It could also be a red if it's something which matches your skin tone. So this is something which you could pay attention to. You could probably, when next time you go to pick up a lipstick, you could ask that person to help you out with lipsticks which match your skin tone, and you could use them while you go for an interview. Moving on to jewelry. Avoid loud, chunky and flashy jewelry. Definitely avoid heavy gold or diamond jewelry. You want to keep your jewelry simple. Maybe you could wear simple earrings like a ear stud or pearl drops, and you could wear a simple chain with a small pendant. So yes, you definitely want to avoid flashy and chunky jewelry. Okay. Moving on to hair. This is with regard to men and women. With regard to men, you want to keep your hair short. You definitely do not want your hair to be long and falling on your face. It has to be neat and combed and kept in place. With regard to women, you have many options. If you have long hair, just ensure that if you want to either pull it back and put it neatly into a bun or a French twist, or if you prefer leaving your hair loose, just ensure that the hair is not falling on the face or forehead. A messy hairdo or a messy hair could give the impression that you're a messy and a disorganized person when actually you're not. So you definitely want to pay a little attention to the hair. So basically, just keep it neat and tidy. Okay? With regard to nails, I'll start with the men first. With regard to the gentlemen, you need to keep your nails neat and clean. You need to ensure that they are filed, because that is something which would come into while you were speaking, it could get to the attention of the interviewer. So you definitely want to keep your nails clean. Women tend to wear nail polish and they tend to have long nails. So ensure that you go for a manicure before an interview and choose the right shades for nail polish. Again, the rule would be to use subtle shades. So avoid reds or avoid any funky colors like blue, green. You probably want to use subtle shades like maybe a pink or a white or a pearl finish. With regard to footwear for men, ensure your shoes are polished. You definitely want to avoid wearing sneakers at a job interview. With regard to women, you want to choose comfortable heels. Ideally you should not wear really high heels for an interview, because you would be uncomfortable and that expression would come across at the job interview. So keep your footwear simple and comfortable. Girls should avoid wearing high heels, because wearing high heels can get you very uncomfortable, and you definitely do not want to be uncomfortable at a job interview. With regard to men and wearing socks, avoid wearing bright flashy colors. Those colors are okay to wear for a party or a boys' night out. You definitely do not want to wear that for a job interview. One of the things to remember is match your socks with the trousers that you're wearing. That's a good rule to follow. With regard to the belt that you wear, ensure that the belt matches the shoes that you're wearing, the shoe color. Okay? So if you're wearing brown shoes, you could wear a brown belt. If you're wearing black shoes, you could wear a black belt. Moving on to the women, and with regard to carrying a handbag, you want to choose a classy, simple bag rather than a flashy bag. Let me give you an example. With regard to a bag which has lots of chains or bright colors, you want to probably choose a sober color, maybe a brown or a black. Okay? So as you can see, we have now covered some general guidelines to follow with regard to a dress code and grooming at a job interview. Now that we've covered some of the important guidelines to follow at a job interview, let's discuss some more tips so that you would be more confident the next time you go for an interview. To begin with, wear comfortable clothes. You definitely want to choose clothes with a good fabric. For example, you want to choose cotton clothes, which is generally, very easy on the skin. So I would say avoid wearing synthetic fabrics and use more natural fabrics like cotton. Okay. With regard to girls, avoid wearing sheer or transparent clothing, see-through clothing. That's a definite no-no for an interview. So the best thing to do would be is to choose cotton or natural fabrics. Okay? With regard to being prepared, to be prepared for an interview is the best thing. What you could do is maybe a day before the interview, get your clothes clean, ready, ironed, so that on the day of the interview, you're more easy and relaxed. Another tip I could give you with regard to being prepared is find out about the address, find out with regard to how much time it would take to get you there, and try to reach there around 10 to 15 minutes early. That would give you the time to go ahead and freshen yourself up at the interview so that you come across more neat and tidy. So yes, get your clothes ready a day before. And arrive early. Moving on to the next one, which is body odor. Avoid body odor. That's definitely something which is of prior importance. You could use a deo after having a bath, but very, very important. Personal hygiene is number one with regard to, moving into the corporate world. Moving on to body language. Again, something very important. As much as you've dressed up well, the way you present yourself is very, very important. With regard to how you sit, ensure that when you are at an interview, when you are sitting across the person, you don't slouch or you don't put your hands, or your elbows on the table and talk. You have to sit up straight. You have to come across confident, but do not intimidate the interviewer. Okay. Another thing would be maintain eye contact at all times, because that shows confidence. With regard to women, if you're wearing a skirt and if it's a short skirt, you definitely want to ensure that you sit appropriately. So these are certain things which are tiny details but which go a long way. Okay. The last but not the least, smile. It's the best accessory that you have. All the primping and grooming is of no use if you are not excited to be at the interview. So yes, while you're paying attention to your clothing, to your personal hygiene, please be pleasant and smile. Okay? The primary goal of a job interview is to feel good about yourself and project a positive image. When you feel good about yourself, you naturally convey confidence and a positive attitude. An interview is not a beauty contest, but yes, how you dress and your overall appearance almost always gets noticed by the interviewer. Don't let careless dressing be one of the reasons to be ruled out of the job. Take a little bit of time, pay a little attention to some of the tips and guidelines shared in this video. And I would just like to say, dress well and confidently, and you would be able to glide through any interview in a calm and relaxed manner. We have now come to the end of this interesting lesson. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you are going to use the tips for your next job interview. Till I meet you next, take care and good luck.